Well, hello everybody. Peter KJ5AJB here again. And today's topic is going to be on I had a comment on my CubicSDR video about my SDR setup itself. I'm not too sure if I went into enough detail on it, but I figured since he had a question, some others might have too. And it came from Scott, and his call sign is NI1 Alpha. And he wanted to know my specific setup, what a SDR receiver I was using, and all that. He has a different SDR receiver that I'm not familiar with, but I figured I would show mine. But anyways, before we get started, let's get these out of the way, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I hope you enjoy the video. And I was supposed to mow the lawn this morning, but it's raining, so do a little video action here today, and we'll get that posted later on. But anyways, get yourself something to drink. I've got a nice cold glass of iced tea here, and let's get going. All right, we're over at the desk now. I had a couple other news items to kind of go over. One of them was a lot of folks at the Hamvention right now, and they're getting their hands on that new Yaesu FTX1F. I've seen on Reddit, there's a couple of folks have a complaint that they've pre-ordered some and haven't received theirs yet, but people at the Hamvention are able to buy them right away. And so it's kind of leaving a bad taste in their mouth. I think one of the other things was ARRL was put in a few tidbits on the deal where they're wanting to change some of the things doing with the ham radio requirements and stuff like that. And they had somewhat of a good point here where they wanted to, they filed comments advocating for modernization of Part 97 of the Amateur Radio Service Regulations. And their proposals include both previously submitted items and new requests that is centered on updating the rules to reflect the technological advancements while preserving the foundations of traditional radio practices. And a quote in here is, the soldering iron and discrete physical components used in past experiments often are replaced by a personal computer and coding knowledge to experiment with new techniques and functions. So they're looking at the new digital stuff like FT8, RTTY, and PSK 31 that have been, a lot of that stuff's become computerized, and they figure it's integral to the technician level class. So another quote here is, the youth attracted to amateur radio today will become the wireless engineers and space scientists of tomorrow that are critical to our nation's future if given a chance. So that's a pretty good suggestion there, I believe, on bringing it a little more up to date for a lot of the newer things we have. I don't know what your feelings are on that, but if you like, just drop a comment down below and see how that is. Other than that, let's see, what else did I have here? That's pretty much it. And I'm sure a lot of you have been watching the Hamvention videos on YouTube. Also, there's a bunch of people there. That's quite a few people. That's pretty crowded. But I hope they're having fun, having a great time. I got to get on there today and watch a few of them myself just to see any of the new stuff that's out. So I'm going to jump over to some first setup things we need to do on with the Kenwood. This is mainly hooking SDR up to Kenwood TS-590SG was the question I had anyway. So, all right, here we are. We're looking at my desktop here. This is the device I have. It's the RTL-SDR version 3. I believe there's a version 4 out right now, and you can find more info out on that website there, RTL-SDR.com. They sell them on Amazon, probably less than $40. Sometimes you can get them on sale for less than 30. But it's a pretty simple little device. It's USB on one end and your RF in on the other, little SMA connector there. And so it comes with a pretty long cable and a little rabbit ear antenna. I took and I cut the cable down because it comes with SMA connectors on both ends. So this is one end of it. The other end I cut off and put an RCA connector to plug in the back of the Kenwood. You can get these on Amazon also. They're pretty simple. They just unscrews. It's got a little insulator in there that sits in there, keeps things from shorting out. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's like a little screw right there. Okay, so what you do is when you cut the cable, I tin the center conductor, and then I also I just cut it like you're going to do a piece of coax. So you got some braid that sits down in this part here for when you crimp this. And then I kind of twisted it some, tinned it, and then soldered it to this back piece. And the center conductor goes in the back of the pin here. And there's a little screw to tension it in there. I guess if you wanted to, you could solder it on there too. And then the back just screws right onto it, like so. And I put a couple of ferrite beads on the two ends of the cable, keep the extraneous RF out of it when you transmit and stuff. So anyways, I'm going to switch to my desktop here, and I'm going to show you the manual on the Kenwood itself on where to plug this guy in the back. So you plug it into the DRV port, but we'll catch that on the next take. So the Kenwood has a DRV jack on the back of it, which can also be configured to connect to the antenna. And it's an RCA connector. So you can, like I showed you with how I modified my cable, you plug that RCA connector on the cable into that. And then you go to menu number 85 and you switch that to antenna in the radio. And then also on the front panel, you have to push the meter button to where you get the little asterisk on the screen. I'll see if I can find that in the manual I've got here, because I'm going to show you on the manual real quick where that DRV jack is located on the back. And then we'll switch to the desktop on my M1 Mac Mini over there. I'll bring it up here. I'll screen share it, and we'll look up just the settings I use using CubicSDR and my RTL-SDR receiver. So anyways, let me do some switching around here, and we'll get back to you here real quick. All right, so here we have the Kenwood manual I've got on my desktop here, and you can, this is the back of the receiver itself, and the DRV connector is located right here, right next to a receive antenna jack, okay? And then if you look right below here, it says the DRV connector drive device or external receiver antenna, a drive device DRO or external receiver antenna to this RCA connector. Okay. The other one is just a straight receive connector for HF low bands to that one. Okay, which is the one next to it. But we're interested in the DRV connector right there. So the other thing, when I told you about selecting the menu setup and all that, and pushing that meter button so you get the asterisk on it. That asterisk, this is the front panel here. So that little asterisk is going to be right there. It's a little cluttered here with because they're showing everything on the display, but that's the one you're looking for when you hit the meter button to come up. So essentially what that does is that connects your SDR receiver to your same antenna you're using for your HF receiving, and whenever you key the mic up to transmit, it will isolate that from, in other words, it shuts off the input to it, presumably with a relay of some type. I haven't actually looked at the details inside, but generally that's what it uses in previous Kenwoods anyways. All right. So from there, I'm going to go to bring up my desktop from the other my Mac Mini. Let's go to the Finder here and go down to Network, M1 Mac Mini. I want to share the screen off of that. We'll do standard. Let me turn this mouse thingy. No, I might go ahead and I don't know if you can, yeah, you can still see it. So anyways, you can see I have this running over here. But anyways, when you first start up CubicSDR, let me find, let's see, let's go to SDR devices menu and we'll look at that. So if you see right here, this generic RTL-2832U, that's my RTL-SDR plugged into, I've got it plugged into a powered USB hub. So it actually has a separate power source to power any of the devices off of it. It just seems like it doesn't matter how many USB ports you have on a computer, there's just not enough to go around. So, but anyways, that's that. I'm going to close that out because we're already connected to it. And then I'll go up here to File Settings. All right, I've got show hover tips when you hover over different things on there. These are all set to 0, automatic gain. No, that's not what I want. Go back here. Settings. I didn't want to swap that. So this one here, if you look, for this device is set to Q-ADC in order to get it to function. I left the sample rate at the default 2.56. Audio sample, you can just, whatever you're outputting it to, you can, like that's for my monitor over there, which doesn't have speakers, so I don't even know why it's in there. But anyways, you can put it out to your Mac speakers or a set of external headphones. Are all set to 48 kHz. I'm not recording at the time, and you can set up your rig control in here. I got mine set to follow rig. And with the floating center, track modem, my model is in here. Under, right there. My serial rate is 115.2. And my control port is this one right here, that device TTY 221140. It might be different on your computer, just depending on what it assigns to it. So anyways, you'll notice under my rig control, I've got enable rig, follow rig, floating center, and track modem. That's all I've got selected under there. I'm not using it to control because I generally use FL rig to control it because it's got a larger numeric readout on my screen over there. So this window here just shows what you're connected to, and generally I just close that out, so I just have the two. This window here and this window here are pretty much the same areas, and you can you can change the bandwidth, space, or 0 through 9 for direct frequency inputs. These spots over here, you can just count it up or down. I've got the bandwidth set to 3000 for right now. Center frequency is 142700. This down here is showing from 13.2 to 15.5. And if you roll your mouse wheel in there, it'll so this is the center where we're tuned right now, right here where this band is. And then down here is your main spectrum. So over here it shows all your recents, which mainly has been my morning net, which is the HiJack net. You can clear those out if need be. You can save bookmarks. So I made a group called Nets and put HiJack net in there. So all I have to do is double click on that to get what I want. Down here it shows your free bandwidth, type, lower sideband, and the label I have on it. And then you can select your bookmarks down here, or you can create a new bookmark in that window. New group, drag and drop to create and move bookmarks, group and range. So it gives you all the tips there you need. So anyways, other than that, that's about all I got for that. So let me switch back to the main here. So hope you enjoyed all that information. I hope I got everything to you that you need for that. And I hope that works out for you. And subscription wise, let's see. Yeah, it's moving the wrong way. Last time I checked, I had 323 subscribers. As you can see, my little tote board in the back. There's a guy on Etsy that made that. I was going to make, I was going to either create an electronic one, or they have a couple you can buy online, but you have to put your information into them to access your YouTube channel. I didn't really care to do that, so I went with the manual method. So anyways, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So this is Peter, KJ5AJB. We'll be signing off in 73s.